So I released a 5-part video series, and the 5th part was all about the World Economic Forum, and I do have some additional information about the World Economic Forum that I'd like to share, related not only to Event 201, just a little bit about the cyber polygon as well, just a little bit. But it's going to take us all the way to a 1982 newspaper article that I have the very sneaking suspicion that the individual that is being referred to in the newspaper article is the head of the World Economic Forum, or at least, and I don't agree with the title that they've bestowed upon him in the article, but I have a feeling that that's who they're talking about. So we'll get to that newspaper article later, but let us listen here to Event 201. And I'm not going to say what Event 201 was about. You can, if you're unfamiliar, take a look. It was an exercise, and that exercise is right under the Event 201, right there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Who was the partners of Johns Hopkins University in this exercise?
And our partners, the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I'd like to
but even more so, watch and listen here.
You can see on this slide, we have an outstanding group of global leaders playing the role of the Pandemic Emergency Board members here in New York. And with that, let's welcome our participants and invite them into the room. Security, Latoya Abbott, Marriott International.
Marriott International.
Sophia Borges, UN Foundation.
Of course, the UN Foundation will be there.
Brad Connett, Henry Schein.
Henry Schein.
Chris Elias, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Now, we already know, and I've shown, that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is all a part of the World Economic Forum. They're all knee-deep in with it.
Foundation. Tim Evans, formerly of the World Bank. George Gao from China CDC. Avril Haines, former Deputy U.S.
Isn't that interesting? So we have the U.S. CDC and you have the China CDC. Now, where did they say that the vid came from? So I'm sure there are CDCs of Russia, of China, of other countries, but yet it's the U.S. CDC and the China CDC that are involved in this exercise. But let's keep listening.
Deputy U.S. National Security Advisor, Jane Hulton, ANZ Bank, and former secretaries of both the Department of Health and Finance in Australia. Matthew Harrington from Edelman. Martin Knuckle from Lufthansa Group.
Lufthansa.
Eduardo Martinez, UPS Foundation.
UPS.
Stephen Redd from US CDC. Adrian Thomas from Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson.
And Hasti Taggi from NBC Universal Media.
NBC.
And Lavin Theroux from the Monetary Authority of Singapore.
So what are all of these, what do all of these have in common besides the CDC and Mrs. Avril Haines right here, or the Australian? Every single one of the corporations mentioned are all a part of the World Economic Forum. NBC Universal, okay? Let's just go down the line here of all the names that we saw that were mentioned. Edelman, Henry Schein, Johnson & Johnson, Marriott International. Keep on going. UPS. And what about Lufthansa? And they're thoroughly represented, but they are a part of the World Economic Forum. And this guy right here, formerly positions with Lufthansa, all a part of the World Economic Forum. 4 'em. Now, okay, so now that we have that established, let's just go down the line here of all the names that we saw that were mentioned. Edelman, Henry Schein, Johnson & Johnson, Marriott International. Keep on going. UPS. And what about Lufthansa? They're thoroughly represented, but they are a part of the World Economic Forum. And this guy right here, formerly positions with Lufthansa, all a part of the World Economic Forum. Now, okay, so now that we have that established, It should not come as a big surprise to these individuals that participated as panelists that this event would go live when that's exactly what they knew was going to happen. As I said, the China CDC was involved in this. And why would they be there? Why exactly would they be there and not any of the other countries' Center for Disease Control outlets? Very interesting indeed. But there was another individual, Avril Haines, who was mentioned. And this was in 2019, before the election, before Joe Biden even picked his appointees, and we will take a look here. Here it is. 23 high-ranking officials in Biden administration all came from the same shadowy firm. And if you'll look right here, the one individual, Avril Haines, Director of National Intelligence. That's who she became. That's what she became. So before she was even picked by Biden, and she really was just, why was she there? And I find it very interesting that Joe Biden started using the exact same slogan that the World Economic Forum were using of Build Back Better. And so there was a letter that, this right here, this came from Congress of the United States, House of Representatives, and them wanting to know all about this company, this corporation, this entity called West Exec. Anthony Blinken is all a part of Biden's. It was a Biden appointee, and a lot of these people, Biden appointees, and they all came from this West Exec. And I find it very interesting that one of these West Execs was on the panel of this event 201. Now, something else I wanted to share with you in case you were not knowing about this as well, that there's a World Economic Forum LLC based in New York and San Francisco. The World Economic Forum LLC is impartial and not tied to any political blah, 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 so on and so forth. And office acts as the headquarters for the various industry and system initiatives, as well as for North America and Latin America activities. So this is all a part of the World Economic Forum based out of San Francisco, New York. And we've done plenty of talking about the Nestle Corporation and how very sinister that corporation is. And I find it very interesting that in this article right here about the United Nations, the UN now has a special section for corporations called the Global Compact, founded about 15 years ago by Kofi Annan and the then president of Nestle. To become a member, a company need only sign on for 15 principles in the areas of human or labor rights and the environment. The corporations that belong to the Global Compact, plus the members of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development and various other business associations or chambers of commerce, were massively present at the UN's Jamboree Environmental Conference in the summer of 2012. According to some reports, they virtually took over the proceedings. Business formed at the largest delegation and staged the largest event known appropriately enough as Business Day. Here, the permanent representative of the International Chamber of Commerce to the United Nations, yes, like a country's permanent representative, declared to thunderous applause, "We are the largest business delegation ever to attend a UN conference." The world has had enough. This was April 24th, 1982, and this is just one of the articles that it appeared in right here. It's had enough of hunger, injustice, war. Answer to our call for help as world teacher for all humanity. The Christ is now here. And I do not agree with the title bestowed upon who I believe who they're talking about. More like Antichrist is more like it. How will we recognize this person? Look for a modern man concerned with modern problems. Political, economic, and social. Since 1977, this Christ has been emerging as a spokesman for a group or community group, right? World Economic Forum or community, right? Davos, in a well known modern country. He is not a religious leader, but an educator in the broadest sense of the word, pointing the way out of our present crisis. Who does it sound like they're talking about? And what do they go on saying? You read it. Throughout history, humanity's evolution has been guided by a group of enlightened men. The World Economic Forum is all about this transhumanistic movement, about robots and mankind joining together to become cyborgs, about all of this stuff that they're about. And all of this it's right here. Human evolution guided by a group of enlightened men. My task will be to show you how to live together peacefully as brothers. This is what this person's going to be saying. Who does it sound like to you? All of this information that they list here, who does it sound like? The problem is that all of the corporations that are attached with the World Economic Forum, folks, we're talking about depopulation. We're talking about corporations ruling over mankind. How is it that this individual that I do believe is pointing to the leader of the World Economic Forum is anything good for mankind? And when will we see him? He has not yet has declared his true status, and his location is known only to a very few disciples. One of these has announced that soon he will acknowledge his identity, and within the next 2 months, well, this hasn't happened. Okay, this part hasn't happened. From that time, with his help, we will build a new world. Well, anyway, it seems that everything that this article was about is everything that this individual, you know the name, I'm not going to say it. I want to see what you think. Do you think that this is all about the individual who founded the World Economic Forum? With that, I'll leave you with that thought. Thanks, everybody.